Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, gamers, geezers, geeks, Batmen, celebrities like to punch people, baby creatures from many TV shows, people who like PS5 controllers, people who like Xbox controllers, people who have watched Red Dwarf and really liked it. It's this week's Monkey Nut Punch podcast. And on my podcasting journey, like all podcasting journeys, I've got a Ginger and a Keith. Say hello, Nige.
What?
And I got Keith. Say hello, Keith.
Hello. Oh, dear.
So, Keith, before I start, there's a couple of things I need to just a bit of housekeeping, and I'm going to try and make sure I do this every week. Babster, thank you very much. I knew I saw those flower things in Elite Dangerous somewhere on a video. I don't know if it was one of yours or not. The Thoragoids, which are the plant-like creatures that Star Trek Picard ripped off from Elite Dangerous. That's the current version of Elite Dangerous, maybe in the previous version too. So yeah, that's my housekeeping for that one. So, first question. Nige, where have you been sticking your fishy fingers this week?
I think the question really should be, where haven't I been sticking my fishy fingers?
Ooh. Okay, let's just one person. Where have you been sticking those fishy fingers to?
I'd rather not say, it's quite embarrassing.
Okay. And it was Gerzo who prompted the fishy finger comment, not Babster. I forgot.
He did. Yes.
He did. So, okay. So this week we'll be mostly talking about Taika Waititi being a dickhead on stream, Ezra Miller being a dickhead in real life, Matt Reeves saying something which kind of makes me worried, some funny things with the Mandalorian, something that Keith desperately wanted to talk about TV shows delays because of the incident that we're not allowed to talk about. The new PS5 controller, which looks really sweet. What the hell's happening to E3? And the Crytek engineer who opened up his mouth and then shut it rather quickly. And then we'll talk about Red Dwarf: The Promised Land, which I watched, which was fantastic, and Keith watched and he thought was fantastic. And Nige just added to his box downstairs, reasons why we're late. and Tales from the Loop, which is supposed to be Amazon's answer to Black Mirror, apparently. So, Taika Waititi. He's
Who is he?
Taika, he's the guy who directed Thor Love. He's directed Thor, and will be directing a new Thor Love and Thunder.
Didn't he play the voice of the stony alien?
Yes, he did the voice of Korg.
Yes.
But because we've got celebrities and shit, they're all locked in. Taika Waititi thought it'd be funny if he streamed a live kind of reading of the script for Thor: Blood and Thunder. So as he put it on, he showed this page here, and you can't read it very well on this image, but it's got Tony, as in Tony Stark, yeah, and Thor having a chat where Thor goes, "You're back." Tony says, "In the sack, baby." Thor said, "But how? I saw you die." Tony said, "Science." Also, Thanos is back. Thor, mother fricker, no. And then it was like kind of, oh, do you want to see? I think it was he said something about, do you want to see what Tony Stark's new Iron Man costume looks like? So he showed this, which is meek armor or whatever you want to call it. Yes, Taika Waititi was sitting at home trolling the world.
That looked like a cheap knockoff as well.
It's just you're gone.
Surely what he's doing actually isn't that good from Marvel Studios. If I was Kevin Feige, I'll hurl him over the coals for that, because it's not threatening to leak a script for the movie that you're making, even if it was a joke or not, is it's not funny to studios, because they have problems with leaks like that. I wonder if he's going to get his knuckles wrapped a bit.
I don't know. I'm seriously worried more about his mental health, because this is the picture of the robot for Meek, yeah. And then, oh no, it's not on this one. Bugger. And then there's a picture of, I think, hang on a second. Oh no, it's down here. Oh, come on, load it. If I can get it up, it is Meek in a what can be described as a lady's business suit. So it is a little worrying that that he has kind of released this bit of artwork. I think he was just kind of a bit stir crazy. And he thought, because celebrities love attention, so they figured, hey, you know what? I'll pretend I'm leaking the script. I'll put out some bullshit just so I can plug this bit of artwork, even though it might not be in the film.
I have to say, I saw a clip from Jojo Rabbit the other day, and it had Stephen Merchant playing a Gestapo, and he turns up on the doorstep to do an inspection, and I have to say I pissed myself laughing, mainly because it was Stephen Merchant doing a Gestapo officer, and it was very, very funny. I don't know if the whole movie's funny, because I know a lot of people have a problem with Hitler.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Do you think people might have a problem with Hitler?
One or two.
I know people
with Mao and Stalin, but Hitler definitely.
You know what I mean. But Stephen Merchant. Well, I mean, Hello got away with it, didn't they? But they never actually put Hitler on screen. They just put the. But they did put the Gestapo on it because you had Heflick of the Gestapo.
Do you know what?
Stephen go on.
Hello was the only comedy involving World War II that the Germans actually liked. And the reason they liked it is they just said that we were in on the jokes. It wasn't completely at our expense. Everyone was having the piss taken out of it equally, made to look embarrassing and stupid.
No, they were the first equal opportunities offender, weren't they?
Yeah. Well, no, arguably the British were made to look more stupid. Arguably, the British were more stupid, especially the two pilots.
It's only because they didn't talk French.
I mean, I still go good moaning. It's like we have a Teams chat for the whole company at the moment because everybody's working from home, and everybody always says like "good morning," but it's me. It's like "good morning." I was pissing by, and like all the old people got the joke. And like one of the younger people went, "Don't think you should be using that kind of language." And then somebody just posted a link to a lower low. It was like, "We got it." I can't see Marvel being altogether pleased by this. I mean, even though it was meant to be a joke, posting a picture, even if it's a fake script, by the director of the movie is not a good look. So,
yeah,
I don't know.
We know they don't have a sense of humour at the moment, so you're probably right. They won't take a nice view at this.
Technically, Tony Stark is back because he's voicing Tony Stark in one of the animated What Ifs, isn't he?
Yeah, but it doesn't really count as being back.
Nah,
does it?
But
he's actually Tony Downey Jr. Robert Downey Jr. has said that he would like to come back to the MCU because life outside hasn't really worked out for him. It's like, yeah, I thought it'd be a good idea, but dude, you're rich.
Just find a way.
You're rich, mate. Just fill your fucking swimming pool full of gold coins and do a Scrooge McDuck.
Yeah,
sure, you've got enough money to do that. Okay. Well, that was one guy being a dick, yeah. And now we've got another guy being a dick, yeah. We got
no, Gareth, he's not a guy. He's a they.
Just wait, all right.
Why is he more than one?
Oh, I don't.
No, he's one of these fucking idiots that identifies as gender fluid. Have you not? Didn't you see the fucking party he turned up to where he dressed as a Dalek? And he did. He looked like a fucking Dalek. The only thing that was missing was a plunger on his head.
Well done, Keith. You've really pulled the fucking momentum there.
Yeah, he's got a big enough dick on his head to.
Anyway, Ezra Miller. Yeah, he was in Iceland, and I'm not talking about the shop off the high street. He was in Iceland, and some bird was like, kind of, I could take you in a fight because you look like a man weasel, and He decided to choke slam her and throw her to the ground in the snow whilst wearing flip-flops. Not a good picture, and I'm afraid, mate, you can pretend to be gender fluid all day. If a man attacks a woman, can't take exception to that. Self-defense is fine, but just attacking a fan because they said they could take you in a fight, no, that's not good. I think that DC have a casting issue. They've got they got a problem with just casting just absolute fucking losers for their bloody TV show, not TV shows, for their films and stuff. Because look at you've got Amber Heard, who apparently shat in Johnny Depp's bed, which I can't get over. Because what kind of person shits in another person's bed? And the thing is, Amber Heard, Amber Turd. That makes me crazy. And then you got Ben Affleck, who what do you call it?
Look, no, hang on. I'm going to stand up for Ben Affleck a bit. I quite liked his Bruce Wayne. I think he was hard done by it. I think he would have been a good Batman. I'm sorry, but I do. I actually think he was shat upon a bit too much on that. Yes, I do. When he was being Bruce Wayne, like his little cameo at the end of Suicide Squad was quite good. And he had moments where he was a good Bruce Wayne. The thing that let him down was the shit scripts. I actually think he was quite a good Batman in places, and he genuinely is a Batman fan. And he didn't want the part to be, he tried to do the best of the part. It's not his fault. He had a really bad script. And as much as people keep on going, release the Snyder cut, Snyder made Superman versus Batman, which is to me one of the most stupid comic book movies ever made. I mean, even fuck me, even Deadpool 2 took the piss out of it. At every opportunity it got. It was bad. And I know we read the comments at the end, but I'm going to agree on this comment. Dave's just said he was better Batman than George Clooney. In fairness, Val Kilmer was a better Batman than George Clooney.
To be fair, George Clooney's mum was a better Batman than George Clooney.
Yeah.
She didn't even bother putting the costume on. Didn't want to see her back nipples.
Nigel's favourite subject, back nipples.
But the long and short of it is, I watched the video. I can't find the video anywhere, which is doing my nuts.
I've watched it.
Down. And the woman's going like this, going towards him, and then he kind of just loses it like a loony, and then attacks her. Now I don't. It's a weird because you look at it and you clearly don't know the context of what the fuck's going on. So he's attacking her for reasons. We have no idea why.
Yeah, I mean, but the Twitterarties turned on him, and they used to love him because he was one of these gender fluid, non-binary, fucking whatever the bloody terminology is this week for him. Who he's just a fucking freak. I'm sorry. If you'd seen some of the shit that he dresses up, I've seen supposed gender fluid people and non-binary people. They do not wear perspex blow up Dalek costumes. I don't know if you can find the picture of him when he turned up to this party, but it was black PVC rings that sort of go up like a Dalek shape. Yeah. This guy is a fucking nut job.
The long and short of it is, it sounds awful. I want them to cancel him and replace him with Grant Gustin.
Yes.
Because Grant Gustin sounds like a fucking superhero. Yeah, he is. He is. And it would be nice to see him say in a different setting away from the CW where he might be able to fucking, put his chops in. And he's
be the Flash again.
Yeah. Be the Flash rather than whatever it is that they've got him doing.
We're shitting on the CW. The first 3 or 4 seasons of the Flash were good before the Me Too shit and all the woke bullshit. Now he's just been shat upon left, right, and fucking centre, and it's all about the whamming. But he was, when he started out, a damn good Flash, and we all liked him. And we used to say that the TV universe was way better than the movie universe.
It was at the beginning.
Yeah, it was.
Okay,
But I totally agree. Grant Gustin should be the Flash. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. All right. For those watching live, please put comments in, talk to us, because when we get to the end of the segment, like we do now, Nigel read out those comments for you, and we'll see what's happening in the wider world.
So yeah, it seems like we've only got the one person, or possibly two people watching that we know. So hello, David. Little wave. He said, "Yeah, Ezra Miller maybe is a twat."
Maybe not. Maybe he is a twat. Dave.
Commits himself there. Ezra Miller
Committing.
What was it?
Yeah.
Look, is a twat maybe.
Maybe. So obviously, he agreed. You mentioned this. Ben Affleck was great in Smoking Aces, and he was a better Batman than George Clooney. But you've mentioned that, so he does reckon that Batman versus Superman wasn't too bad, even with its issues. Certainly better than Suicide Squad. Yeah, I think Batman versus Superman is better than Suicide Squad.
I would agree with the extended version, not the normal version, because the normal version doesn't make any sense. Suicide Squad is not a good movie, but at least it makes sense. If you watch the cinematic release of Batman and Superman, it makes no fucking no fucking sense.
If like you watch, Chief talking,
yeah. But if you watch the extended version, at least it's a bit more. It makes a bit more sense. That you get a bit more of the character's motivations, kind of. But what did you say? Oh, my mother's Martha, your mother's Martha. Oh, we're friends now. I'm sorry. You will never, ever live that down. I'm sorry. You just won't.
Okay. All right. So Duncan's chimed in.
He has, yeah.
Yes. Suicide Squad's better, but makes no sense.
The problem with the Suicide Squad is Claire Devine. I can't get over how bad she was.
Cara Delevingne.
Delevingne, whatever her name is. She's very good in Valerian, the City of whatever it was. She's good in that, but she was bad in Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
And I hated the Joker, Jared Leto's Joker in that as well, because he's a dick.
Okay. He's a dick. All right. Let's move on to our next story, which is... I've got to make sure I press the right button. Which is Matt Reeves says that the Batman will have a humanist bent. Now, I'm like, but what does he mean, a humanist bent? You mean tell a story with like proper characterization and shit like you're supposed to?
Actually have a story?
Is it going to be like Star Trek? Just before we continue, Dave, right, in your book, one of your characters has a car. That's the car I picture in my head from that book, just to point that out. He says a human spent. I always find it's weird because why do you need to tell us that it's going to be humanist? It's like, are you trying to gaslight us and replace the word humanist with like progressive? Yeah, is that what's going on here? Is they're going to fuck the story around? Because you shouldn't need to say that. It should be faithful, comic book accurate, gritty, something along those lines when you're describing the film.
What does he mean by? Again, you're right. What does he mean by humanist? I mean, we liked Matt Reeves because he directed Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, which was the first movie we all gave 5 stars to when we were the artists formerly known as Gaming Face Punch. And War of the Planet of the Apes is again quite a good movie. So I quite like the movies he directed. And I like how he's been releasing stuff on Twitter and engaging fan response and stuff and engaging with the fans. But I get what you mean. This is slightly worrying. That is he going woke and going on this thing? But I do. Yeah, go on.
I just find it really weird because the only TV shows that I would associate humanist kind of philosophy with is Star Trek and Doctor Who.
Yeah,
is Christopher Eccleston going to turn up in it? It'd be good if he did turn up in it.
Does he mean that Batman is going back to what Batman was and not shooting the shit out of everybody like Affleck's Batman did? But again, not Affleck's fault. But the Batman in those movies just killed everyone with guns, which is a Batman no. So does he mean by the fact that Batman's going back to the roots, which we've heard more than once, where it was going to be more of a detective style movie where Batman doesn't kill people, which is what Batman was all about. And maybe he means that.
Well,
I hope that's what he means.
The fact that Batman doesn't kill people, is Batman doesn't go out of his way to kill people. That's what it really means when you say Batman doesn't kill people. He goes out of his way not to kill people.
I've googled humanist bent definition. Obviously, you can't find a humanist bent, but it says it will provide the thinking of both knowledge of a moral code to live by. So he's got a moral code, and I think what you're saying there, he's going around shooting up everybody.
Why did he say he's not going to be the same arsehole that he was in what do you call it?
He'll have a bit more of a human side towards him, where he's got a moral code that he lives by, and there's a reason for that moral code. That's it, really, isn't it? It's got to be.
Yeah.
There's probably multiple different ways of thinking about it, but I like to think that one.
Yeah.
He's not going to make him a twat.
He's not going to make you a twat. All right. Okay. So, let's get to the comments. What we got?
David, you are correct. He was talking about a book called The Black Mamba in Good Retailers.
Good book.
That's the car that Gareth pictures.
The second book's the better book because someone helped him with it.
Someone who
you can blame me.
Who has a massive head helped him with that.
Trying to open the next book.
Yep, there you go. The Black Mamba. So, and also, I actually agree with this. I don't know why they brought out extra films. I quite like the first three by Chris Nolan, the Batman trilogy.
That's Chris Nolan, isn't it? Pretty fucking.
I responded to Dave. The rumor is that the movie is going to be like the Arkham games, that he's going to be in the Arkham Asylum and detective. Hence the reason why we've got the Riddler, we've got the Penguin, we've got all these iconic Batman baddies in the movie. And if it's going to be like that, and what the early sort of rumors were going to be, this could be an interesting film. I like the look of the Batmobile. I think the suit looks interesting. I kind of like Matt Reeves. I hope he means what we think he means in this. I think the casting is interesting. This is going to go one of two ways. It's either going to be really good or it's going to be shit. There is going to be no middle ground with this film. But what I've heard has piqued my interest. I was like everyone, why do we need another Batman film? But when they started saying this kind of thing and you started seeing who they'd cast for the Penguin and stuff like that, I thought this could be good. It could be interesting.
First, Penguin never gets sent to Arkham. He always gets sent to Blackgate because he's not crazy. He's just a gangster. I know. So,
but Penguin could be on the outside. He might not be in Arkham. We don't know that yet.
Okay. All right.
So, what do you think about Duncan?
He could be the mayor. He could be the mayor of Gotham.
Okay. All right.
So Duncan reckons, hopes that they can get closer to Peter Weller's animation.
This is the Dark Knight Returns where they got Peter Weller to do the voice of Batman. Who I know people were going on about having who's the guy who voices Batman? Kevin Conroy, is it? It's Kevin Conroy does the voice of an animated series. He with the Peter Weller version. There you go. All right, with the Peter Weller version.
All right,
best Batman comic book ever written. Dark Knight Returns. I read this every year. I fucking love this book. It's one of the best Batman stories out. Sorry, I had to get that because he's bang on the money. Because we're talking about Dark Knight Returns, iconic.
We're talking about the animated. We're talking about Batman animated.
It's based on that comic book.
Okay,
but Dark Knight Returns is that because they made it, didn't they? They made the Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah, because the Batman in that is old and he's pissed off, and Peter Weller sounds old and pissed off. So it kind of works well with that. Okay, so any more chats?
While we've been discussing this, David's also said it can't be any worse than Batman Forever and Batman and Robin. Penguin deserves his own movie.
That could be interesting.
Penguin
I agree with him.
also-
I agree with him here. I liked the Penguin in Gotham TV series. I thought the actor was really good. I like Gotham the TV series. I really got into that, and towards the end, it got really good. And they did the whole Bane and lockdown of the city story.
Yeah, they did the lockdown. They did the lockdown. Oh, that sounds familiar. But we haven't got Bane or any supervillains running around.
No, I quite liked. I liked Gotham, but if it's not going to be old Batman like that comic book, I mean, sorry, I got this out because I have this with me because it's one of my favorite comics of all time. And if it's going to be like the Arkham games, if they're going back to the sort of the detective roots and they're putting a different spin on it, and the casting kind of hints at that, it might be good. It might be good. I love the Batmobile car. It looks awesome. I really do. I think it's cool.
The other thing too is now Dave's now to pitching like kind of every supervillain should have their own series.
Yeah, he is.
No, Dave, only a few, not all of them.
No. No.
Well, I mean, if it's in Arkham, they're all going to be in there, aren't they? All the nutty ones like Scarecrow and stuff like that. So
yeah.
No, I think it could. It has potential to be good. Matt Reeves can make good movies. He can make really fucking good movies. So,
yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to our next one. Okay. So our next one is Baby. Right. So we've got an artist, and it's annoying because I've hidden my bloody notes. An artist who I can't remember his name has put together his rendition of Baby Jabba like that.
he is kind of cute.
Before I say anything else, Keith, what do you think?
It's like looking in the mirror.
It's you getting out of bed in the morning. No, I'm joking.
Oh,
Sorry,
no, it's far fucking worse than that. It's far worse than that at the moment. I think he's cute as fuck.
It was mocked up by a guy called Leonardo Vitti. So I'm hoping he's Italian. I'm hoping he's Italian and not American.
Leonardo
Italian.
da Vinci.
Vitti.
Vitti.
Just Vitti. If I said Da Vitti, you have to excuse me. I was thinking Da Vinci like you. But yeah, that is actually. Hang on a second. I was going to put on full screen.
He is pretty bloody cute.
Not my cup of tea.
He is. Thanks, nice. But he's no Baby Yoda. Although people bang on about Baby Yoda being the only good thing in The Mandalorian, that's not true. I have watched The Mandalorian again recently because, lockdown, I've got nothing better to do. And I still like The Mandalorian. Is it the greatest TV show ever? No. But it's the best bloody thing that Lucasfilm has done in Star Wars for a very long time, if you don't include Rogue One, which is the only other good thing that they've done.
I was going to mention Rogue One. That was decent.
Yeah. Rogue One is a good movie. And I've watched that again recently, and it is a good film. But yeah, I'm up for a Baby Jabba. Whether they do this now or not, I don't know. But Baby Yoda is kind of awesome. He is.
Okay.
I like Baby Yoda. I'm not keen on Baby Jabba.
Have you watched the final episode yet, though? Have you watched the final episode where the first 10 minutes of it is a fucking sketch from Family Guy? And it generally is, because they keep punching the fucking Baby Yoda in the back. I mean, it is genuinely. It reminds me, every time I watch that, it reminds me of Family Guy, because it's just like a sketch from Family Guy where these two fucking stormtroopers are talking about inane shit, which Family Guy used to do a lot. Have you guys seen the Family Guy sort of satires of Star Wars? What was it? It was Blue Harvest, something Dark Side.
Oh yes, no, sorry, I have seen Blue Harvest. I haven't seen the other ones. I'm thinking of Robot
the other
Chicken,
two are,
which are about.
I've got all three of them. They are fucking brilliant. They are so good. But I think. But how can you not like Baby Jabba? He's cute.
I don't know. All right,
Come on, Nigel, you cold-hearted.
I don't.
Nigel thinks he's pretentious. He thinks he's got too fucking big for his boots. That's what he thinks. He thinks that he tries to suck up all the fucking screen time away from all the other stars on the show. Yeah, and he's trying to steal the Mandalorian's TV show away from him to make it Baby Yoda. Is that right, Nigel?
No, I just don't think little fat Jabba is cute.
No, Baby Yoda we're talking about.
He was talking about Jabba.
Okay,
I like Baby. I think Baby Yoda's cute, I suppose, but not Jabba.
I don't know. I haven't seen them in live action, so I'll reserve judgment until.
I need to see what Jabba can do first. Can he do any sort of?
He just holds his hand out like this and goes, "I'm farts." That's what he does. Fucking awesome.
Well, we've got a couple of comments before we just move on to the next one. Now, I don't want to kickstart an argument, so I might skip over this one.
No.
No,
There's no argument.
no.
He's wrong.
They're all bad, Dave.
Not to diss our viewers. No, Dave, you're just wrong.
So, what's prompted this is Mr. David has said The Force Awakens was a good movie. Last Jedi was shit. Yeah, no doubt. So
I agree with him on the second part. Last Jedi was shit.
I didn't mind The Force
was
Awakens.
not by any means good.
No, hang on a second. You two liked The Force Awakens. You two made me feel bad for saying I thought it was like a collection of the greatest.
Sorry, I thought he
fucking
was
hits.
saying. I read that wrong. I thought he was talking about the last one. No, The Force Awakens is okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dave. I
He's
read
in.
that completely wrong. I thought you were talking about Rise of the Skywalker. God knows why I thought that.
No, hang on a second.
Force Awakens is okay.
Right, Keith will blame us on
Dyslexic moment.
dyslexia, but I'll just blame him on the fact he's a retard.
But no. You see, Keith saw this one where he said The Rise of Skywalker was also pretty good.
All right, that's
Rise of the
why.
Skywalker
Okay.
is
Well, he's
better.
wrong on that.
Is better than the one before it, whatever that was called. I can't, where where Skywalker's sucking green titty juice.
It's better than Last Jedi, but Rise of Skywalker. Watch it again. There's so many issues with it. But Force Awakens, as a playing it safe movie, was okay. Rise of Skywalker. It's better than Last Jedi. Last Jedi is a big fuck you to everybody because Rian Johnson is an arrogant, stupid twat.
So, let's move on. Duncan Baby Yoda looks like
he is. There was loads of
memes.
memes going around of him being a love child, wasn't there?
Yes, maybe I wonder if you pour water on him. He's only been on desert planets for crying out loud.
Yeah. Yeah. What happens if he goes in water?
Yeah.
Do you turn into one of these?
And if you feed him after midnight.
And then Duncan also thinks Baby Jabba is cute. So I'm unfortunately in the minority, and I don't care. I don't think it's cute at all. I don't think many things are cute.
I'll tell you, Duncan, you're my favourite of the brothers.
There's not many things I would class as cute, to be fair. I don't use that word.
Okay.
This is forced to right now.
Okay. This is a story that Keith wanted me to put in. So Keith's doing this story.
Yeah, Keith.
I can't even pronounce.
There you go.
I can't even pronounce her name, but
Emmanuelle Chriqui.
Right, she's hot. She was the only place that I've seen her in a few things, but the thing I remember her from was the Zohan movie, and it's one of Adam Sandler's movies. And yes, Adam Sandler movies are crap, but I love the Zohan movie. It's childish, shitty humor. I love it. It's so stupid. I love the Zohan. It just cracks me up every time.
But that's I tell you, Keith. That's not the story, mate.
No, you're going.
She has been cast. She has been cast as Lana Lang in the new Superman series, which has been the guy that's been playing Superman in Supergirl and all the CW shows. She is getting his own series. He's not a bad Superman. He is Latino, isn't he? Though, but he's not a bad Superman.
So that's a better picture.
Yeah, she's hot. Yeah, she is hot. She's no Smallville Lana Lang, but she's pretty hot.
Kirsten Crook.
No, okay. When you noticed she had a lisp, you couldn't not notice that she lisped when she spoke quite a bit. It was then do that and just irritate the fuck out of you. I know that people do like her, but the moment you not hear that lisp, you can't fucking unhear it. It's maddening.
Excuse me. I've just seen Alex's comment. I know we're doing this at the end, but fuck you, Alex. But but the reason I wanted to talk about this is you fucker. The reason I wanted to talk about this is because Hollywood is all progressive at the moment. It's all about fucking, representation and everything. Lana Lang was a redhead. She's a ginger. What is Hollywood's problem with fucking redheads, or the fact that they just won't cast them? I mean, you look at Mary Jane. Every movie, they've never cast a redhead. It was a blonde actress and something else. In fairness, they dyed Kirsten Dunst's hair, but she was Rogue is a redhead.
Guys, give us a second. We've got to come back.
They didn't even give her red hair in the movie.
Okay.
And you've got Lana Lang has that again been cast as a brunette, and I think Hollywood just seemed to hate gingers. Have you got a comment on that, Nigel?
I think it's true.
He just wants to pick on you, Nigel.
It's gingerish.
No, I don't want to pick her because they generally seem to have a problem with redheads. They do.
The amount of movies I've gone for and not got the part. It's 100% the time.
Of movies. Sorry,
I've been five for everything. Never got a part. It's purely down to the fact that the colour of my beard and not down to my acting talent. Clearly,
no, it's got nothing to do with your acting talent, Nigel.
Nothing to do with that.
But they are all about representation and stuff like that. Well, the character is a redhead. So what are they doing? I mean, surely these people, this Twitterati that have a fucking problem with everything, should have a problem with this.
That's because they have a problem with redheads.
They won't. They won't say anything about this. But the character is a redhead.
Okay. I've just set fucking Alexa off. All right, just to bait the watching audience. All right, I want to know which one you think's better. All right, we've got Lois Lane. I can't remember if she's fucking played by now. I just typed it.
She's the third actress to play Supergirl's mum in Supergirl at the moment. They cast her as and she also turns up but she also plays Lois again in the Smallville cameo in what's its face that's just gone.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, before you just suck the oxygen out of the room, this is how it goes. Yeah, right. So who do you think's better? We've got Lois Lane here, or Lana Lang.
Her. It's Lana Lang. Lana Lang.
Is this for chat, not for you, Keith? All right. So let's go back. Sorry, I throw that interesting poll out there. We'll collect the results at the end. Yeah.
Me and Nigel have already decided on this one.
I used to know a girl who grew up where I was. She looked just like Kirsten Crook. It was funny. Bastard. Yeah, no, we used to go out drinking. I couldn't remember. I don't know her name. I think it's Sarah, but I used to call her Kirsten because I couldn't remember it when I'm drunk.
Okay, so
she didn't have a clue why. She just rolled with it. But she didn't watch. She didn't watch Smallville.
Okay, all right. So we finished with this section here. So let's move on to the comments because we're getting quite a few come through. There's like a load shooting through there. Just get Adam Sandler in a wig, says Alex. Oh God.
Right, hang on. Can you do the comments because I've got to fire someone.
All right, let's start off with. So let's start off with the point.
Right.
I think.
So we're starting off. So there was a question when Gareth said, "Do you know what? It's your story, Keith." And
Yes,
Alex,
and I've already told Alex to fuck off.
I did have to respond. It would be one of two things. I doing one. So
different kind of fight, though.
yeah.
I'm sorry. I need to.
No, you have no recourse. I'm sorry. You just accept it. So Kirsten David says Kirsten Crook was good in Spider-Man movies, but it didn't stop Spider-Man 3 from being a total steaming pile of monkey shite.
Okay, he's redeemed himself slightly. He's absolutely right on that.
Duncan seems to think that redhead women do well in Hollywood.
Where?
That's a good point.
I'm trying to think of one. In a film. The latest Jumanji films. There's 2 Jumanji films with Dwayne Johnson.
Karen Gilligan. Karen Gilligan. Yeah. No, I agree with that.
And maybe not so much Hollywood, but Mulder and Scully.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Now older than she did back then.
Strange, isn't it?
Yeah, she's pretty bloody good in sex education.
It's like, but then again, she's been living over here, so she's
but the English accent kind of does it for me. It does. I'm sorry,
to be honest,
Jeff, I don't agree with your wife.
She's right. No.
The second comment, you need to divorce her.
No, hang on. Lois was better. Lois was better than fucking Lana Lang, and she was annoying. I'm surprised she didn't have fucking concussion or some kind of brain injury, permanent brain injury from the amount of time.
I don't care what she says.
Orlando DeSalle.
That's my boy, Orlando.
He's got taste.
And don't bother coming back in on Tuesday because I don't agree with you. You're fired.
Shut up. He's got taste. Man has taste.
Orlando seems to be a Lewis, and
Lois. Don't say Lewis. Lewis
Lane.
Who's he saying? Adam Sandler in a wig? Which one? Lois.
Just get Adam Sandler. Yeah, ginger person.
No, he's talking about ginger people doing well in Hollywood. Adam Sandler in a wig. What have you got? Rob Schneider, Bryce Dallas Howard. He knows all of these. He knows all of the.
Cam Gilligan. That's the one I was trying to think of.
Duncan, have you got a thing for redheads?
You seem to know anything with a pair of breasts.
Wibbly.
Is Emma Stone a redhead? She's not. She's a blonde.
Yes, Christina Hendricks.
Emma Stone, I think, is a redhead.
Fair enough. Okay, I'll take that back.
Elvira is not a redhead.
Orlando, you don't have to say sorry.
Don't you apologise to him, Orlando.
Don't you dare apologise to me.
Apologise to him. Anyway, Amy Adams. I can't remember who Amy Adams is.
Amy Adams is Lois.
Knows all these redheads. Lois Lane in Superman, the last couple of Superman movies. Amy Adams. He's absolutely right. He also seems to have a thing for redheads.
He does. Nicole Kidman. Nicole Kidman. Yeah.
She's not a redhead. She's a blonde.
Strawberry blonde, maybe. Strawberry blonde.
Julianne Moore. He does. He knows all the redheads. I'm looking. This is amazing.
This is off the top of your head.
This is off the top of his head. If this is a pub, if it was a pub quiz, name 10 Fitbirds who work in Hollywood but are all redheads. He would win.
He would win this.
Who's Sophie Turner?
Sophie Turner.
Is she?
I'm sure she's in
the one out of Game of Thrones. No,
she's Game of Thrones, but I think he's
Turner is Game of Thrones.
Okay, all right. We'll be here all day if we go through.
Let's see Alex straight in.
Yeah, we'll be here all day if we go through.
He's
listen
right.
to my brothers talk about fucking birds for films.
Birds for films.
Do you know what that reminds me of? Do you know what it reminds me of before we move on to our next story? Do you ever watch Men Behaving Badly when they had the pub quiz? And you had Les the barman, and he's like kind of...
Yes.
And it's like kind of, in which film did Bridget Etland first get her kit off in?
I bet they were like...
And it was just like that. Oh, he's got another Isla Fisher. But yeah, that's classic.
Yeah,
anyway,
she's annoying.
Let's get
but
back
he's right. Isla Fisher is a redhead.
Keith, you might have to retract your statement, mate.
I've retracted it. I already have. And I've got to say, Orlando's saying sorry. I've got to show you this. That mate, you're good. I'm taking the piss.
Anyway, let's move on to our next one, which is we're getting into the games territory. PlayStation.
No?
PlayStation unveiled because this is what they tend to do. They tend to unveil the specs, talk about some of the technical stuff, then the controller, then some specs, then the games, then the console. Finally, and they did this with the PlayStation 4. So they're going to do this similar thing with the PlayStation 5 too. And they've unveiled the controller for it, and it looks really nice.
Yeah,
so I was interested in
this up with different colors.
I was interested to see what you boys thought of it. I think it looks fucking sweet. It kind of what was that Tom Cruise movie?
Oblivion.
With the drones in it. Oblivion. Kind of looks. It has an Oblivion look to it.
It looks like the drones.
It also looks like Wall-E.
Wow.
Yes, you're right. Eva.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does look like Ava from Wall-E. Do you read the comment too? Okay, so I've got to switch this. I've got to switch this up. He's falling off his fucking chair. Well done, Duncan. You've got. You've lost him now. We'll come back to the comment.
That comment.
Right. So. All right,
mate. Just to address this one, Duncan's question: why did I not get the role of Professor X? It's because
I didn't have a break.
Because he wasn't disabled, mate. They wanted.
I was cracked in a wheelchair. To be fair,
he crapped in the wheelchair.
Yeah, I crapped in the wheelchair.
Going back,
he's
bald. But he's got ginger pubes.
Okay, so let's talk about some of the features of this new controller. All right, so the controller. The first things first is it has what they refer to as adaptive triggers. Right now, when the Xbox One came out, they said they had haptic feedback triggers, which basically meant you could feel the rumble through the trigger as you pull it. Yeah, and it was shit. That's the long and the short of it. It was shit. It didn't really affect the game. It didn't really bother me. But what they sold and what I got, completely fucking different. But these ones here, apparently, these are adaptive triggers. And the idea is that if you were pulling back on a bow in a game, it would create tension. So it would be harder to pull the thing back. Like one, if they get it right, it'll be really good. Two, those things are probably going to bust quite easily. They've got to go through a hell of a lot of fucking beating for that. And two, if they can do it right, it would be good because for driving games, I think you'd probably feel it more in a driving game, if you're braking and whatnot. The other thing is they can try and sort out the battery life because Sony put batteries in their controllers, Microsoft. All right. The share button.
Don't get me started.
Also, the share button is gone. Goodbye, share button. Yeah, no more share button on it whatsoever. But it's been replaced with a create button. Yeah. It's been replaced with the create button. So create a tweet, create a video clip, create this, create that. Both make sense. I'm not really fussed. As well, going to have a built-in microphone. So you can talk using the thingy. You don't have to plug in a microphone. I don't know if they've still got the headphone jack. Please have the headphone jack still because that's quite useful. And
that is handy. Use it all the time.
It's USB-C, isn't it, for charging?
Yes, USB-C for charging. I thought that was the least important feature.
Yeah, but even screw the specs of it. It's the fact that for the first time, they have really broken away from their design sort of language. I mean, I know that every iteration has been slightly different, but it's kind of looked like the same fucking controller, since the DualShock 1.
I think that the DualShock 4 was the most radically different.
Yes, but it was still the same body. Okay, it had that nice textured underbelly, which is what Microsoft copied in the end. But it was still the same footprint. I mean, you put that thing down and just silhouetted it. It looked the same as every other one. Yeah, okay, it had the touchpad and that was quite cool. But, if you just took a silhouette of the damn thing, it looked the same. This thing is quite radically different in its design language. And I think I'm not sure if it's going to be chalk and cheese with it, but I think it looks fucking sweet. I really do. I think it looks really cool.
Can I just ask, because it's got a blue light on it, Keith?
Yes.
Actually, the first picture I saw, I didn't see the blue light. The blue light that's the first. I saw the picture, but I couldn't see the blue light, and I thought, by God, it looks really good. The blue light, is the icing on the cake. It does it for me, but it's not the blue light. I like the two-tone design. I like the fact that it looks different to every other controller, and I think it's quite brave of Sony to do something different.
I do think
I'm up for it.
They've taken cues from the Microsoft Xbox controller. I think it does look similar, not exactly the same, because obviously when you side profile it looks different. But we've yet to see the new Xbox. Hang on, how do you say it? Xbox X Series X. Fucking
no, it's not X Series X. It's just X Series at the moment. When they come up with
X Series X,
when they come up with a slightly improved version, it'll be Xbox X Series X.
Yeah, true.
And then it will be Xbox X Series XX, and then Xbox X Series Triple X, which will be the porno version. And every time you start up, to play slap bass.
The SX.
I can see why people are comparing it to an Xbox controller, but I actually think it looks a bit less Fisher Pricey and more sophisticated than an Xbox controller. I like the fact
it looks a little bit more futuristic.
It does.
It does. There is a design language, and I'm hoping that design language translates to the console. And maybe the console comes in like 2 pieces.
You knew where I was going, because the minute I saw it, it reminded me of Oblivion. It just did. And I love the look of a bit of Oblivion. I love the design language in that. I've done quite a lot of sort of reading around that, because the design language in that is really cool. I think it looks fucking awesome. But I can see why people are comparing it to an Xbox controller. It's kind of like a sophisticated Xbox controller.
Yeah.
Sorry,
okay.
I know it sounds slightly snobbish.
The thing is,
it looks cool.
All I've seen about this is people going, "Oh, it looks so much like the Xbox controllers." So what? If the Xbox controller is better than the current PS4, why would you not take that and use that as a base for your new controller? I don't care that it looks like another controller. I'm keen now to see what the Xbox controller looks like. Not to compare them, but whatever one fits in my hands better, because I'm not as tall as you lot. My hands are a little bit smaller, so it depends how it fits, and also for kids as well, how it fits in the hand. Because obviously, comfort when you're playing a game for half an hour to an hour, 2 hours, is obviously key. Because if you can't play for very long because your hands hurt because the controller's shit, you're not going to get it, are you?
Yes.
So we'll see.
The latter Xbox One controller is better.
The later ones.
Yeah. Which one have you got, Gareth? Have you got the Fisher Price one, or have you got the latter one?
I've got both. I had one, and the original one I had went a bit dodgy, but it does look a bit fat. I always look at it and go,
yeah, it does.
It always looks a bit.
It does.
It looks a bit. It does look ugly.
I can see why people are comparing the PlayStation to one, but it's not quite the same. And that fucking thing doesn't have a rechargeable battery in it.
No, I've got rechargeable batteries in it, but no. All right.
Yeah,
shall we move on to the comments, Nigel?
Yeah, the comments. So, right. Alex reckons, he's hoping that the PlayStation is in white with blue. Now, we know that there is PlayStation 4 white supremacist versions. Me and Keith both had one. Until mine broke, and then I got a Pro.
No, I'm sorry. Gareth was jealous and therefore called it the white supremacist version.
Yes.
Because he wanted one too. And your one...
You didn't have to wear the hood.
So I had to get a PS4 Pro to replace it, or at least that's what I told the wife.
No, the thing is, it was actually ejecting discs.
Nigel, how much longer are you going to keep this story up? Are you scared that she's watching?
Until the PS5 comes out. So, can you answer this one, Gareth?
Yeah,
did you complete Doom? Or...
I didn't get 2 of the toys and 1 of the albums, and I just did it on Hurt Me Plenty because I just pressed start when I got the game and it installed because I was impatient. And trust me, when you get all the add-ons and everything, you become fucking godlike. Seriously, you just kick the shit out of everyone. It feels so satisfying, especially when you figure out how to do all that stuff. So yes, I did complete Doom.
Yeah. Duncan also reckons it's a Xbox rip-off design. I think they've both taken cues from each other. And each time they bring out a new console, the design of the controller, although PlayStation mostly stayed the same, they have taken cues from each other. So
I don't think it's quite a rip-off. I was going to say, I don't think it's quite a rip-off. Sorry, Nice, go on.
No, I was just saying, I don't really care. Like I said before, it's mostly whatever feels best in your hand when you're playing, because that's all it is about.
I don't think it's quite a rip-off design. It just looks cooler than anything Xbox has ever produced. But I do like the latter version of the Xbox One controller, apart from the fact it doesn't have rechargeable batteries, out spending a few extra fucking £100. But they put the texture on underneath that PS4 had. And to me, I find the Xbox One controller slightly more comfortable than the PS4 controller. I'm looking at this going, I think they finally heard people saying that, there's other markets other than the Japanese market. And, one of the big criticisms of all the PS controllers has been that it's sometimes uncomfortable, and that the Box One controller is more comfortable.
Hang on a second. I heard the other way round.
It depends
when I've played on your Xbox, Gareth, with your controller, I do find that more comfortable for me than the PlayStation controller.
It's weird because I always said that.
I play Call of Duty better on an Xbox One controller than a PlayStation controller. Don't know why, but I just do. Don't get me wrong, I still shit at Call of Duty.
Those triggers are fabulous. That's the problem. The ones on the 360 are perfect, and I have no idea why they got fucking rid of them. I really don't.
We'll have to see what they're coming out with. But yeah, I do prefer your controller over the PS4 controller. It just fits better in my hand. So I am holding out hope that, because it is a little bit, this PS5 controller is a little bit more like the Xbox controller, I think it will fit better. And apparently they've done tests with people with different size kids, adults, blah, blah, blah. Yes. And they have all said it's comfortable. So moving on to the next one. Looks like an upgraded version. Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
This just in from Alex. He's heard the Xbox controller will be black.
Well, the system's black.
Really? Like it matches the console itself? Yeah, I imagine it will be. Yeah, I imagine it will be. Like the
I think it will match the color of the console. And usually that's what they do. The controller that comes out with the console will match the color of the console. So Alex, I think it was either Alex or Duncan said, Alex said he hopes the PlayStation will be white with blue. He's probably right, because it will probably match the color cues from the controller, and as will Microsoft, they'll do the same. If you buy a console, an Xbox console, the Forza one, that was blue, a nice blue tinge, and the controller came with it was the same color. Same with any white controller, you got a white console. All right. I think that's what they'll do. Right,
let's move on to our next one, which is all about E3.
It's all about E3.
So,
not on, lads. Next.
All right. So we've got E3 2020 won't hold an online experience online experience after all. Given the fact that we are having the incident occur, E3 has been cancelled, and they were talking about moving to an online event, and then they've turned around and gone. Given the current disruption brought on by the thing that we can't name because it's being broadcast on YouTube, E3, the online event won't be happening, basically. So the long and the short of it is they were trying to put an online event and they just went, nah, I'm not doing that. Even though I imagine that Microsoft will do their own thing and Sony will probably do their own thing too. The problem is I can picture both Sony and Microsoft rolling their consoles out to auditoriums with nobody in. You'll have Phil Spencer come out and it'll be like, yeah, and there'll be lots of like flashes and stuff, and then you'll cut and the audience will be fucking empty. With like,
so they'll put some fake.
No. Sony will do the fake shadows at the front, and you'll just get everyone will be still apart from the one guy who'll be like that every so often, and like they did with
without again. without that, we're still assuming that these consoles are going to be out at the end of the year. But if the beer bug does have a second wind in China, where these consoles are built, it might not be. There are many experts that think it might very well happen. I don't know, but we shouldn't just assume.
Talking about Michael Pachter, no, he's wrong. He's always wrong.
No, I'm just assuming. But E3, we all knew that E3 is not that relevant anymore. I mean, Sony don't go to it. They all prefer to do their own launch events these days, and this is back in the day when you had like the Apple fucking show, and then Apple decided to not bother going to it anymore and doing their own events, and then that kind of thing fell by the wayside. I would be surprised if we see E3 back again, to be honest.
It has suffered greatly this past year, even before this happened. People were just pulling out left, right, and centre. And who was doing it? Nintendo were already doing their own thing, I think.
In the treehouse, they were the first one to back out because I think it was when they did Wii Music and they embarrassed themselves really badly. They were like, "Best we don't turn up again."
Yeah.
I have to show you the Wii Music thing from E3. You'll be like, "Oh my god, most total cringe."
I don't know. I mean, E3 for the last few years, E3 hasn't been what it once was. There wasn't, Sony were doing their own event. Microsoft were doing their own thing, really. You never bothered watching E3 anymore. E3 just become more and more irrelevant than, So if it comes back next year, I'll be surprised. It might do, but I would be surprised if it does. Most things now move to these online events rather than having these launch events in the thing because the internet exists now.
Well, Sony will have their. I reckon Sony will have their event. They'll. I don't know what's going to happen with the manufacture parts of it because
one of the
comments
here from.
So you clicked at the same time as me. It's not moving it back to Japan, just out of China. That's Japan. The Japanese government said.
Yeah, but Japan. This is worldwide. First off, and in actual fact, Japan is about to get hit majorly. I don't know what the UK news is reporting, but the Asian news is reporting that Tokyo is not in a good state at the moment. And bearing in mind that it's a city of what is it? It's near enough a mega city now. It's not looking good. So again, bearing in mind what's going all around in the world at the moment, I would not be shocked if it is delayed.
What I probably find is that the PlayStation and the Xbox are probably built 2 miles away from each other.
Yeah,
they probably are. There's probably one factory at one side of the road, down the other side of the road, and they're both there because they were designed in the same building, which I find ironic too, in the AMD building. So yeah, it's mad. And yeah, Duncan. I'd just be surprised, bearing in mind that there will be a lot of political fallout once this is all over. I do agree that I think we're going to be seeing a lot of manufacturing being moved out of China, but that takes time. Yeah.
To move your entire supply line. It's or for that kind of production, it is. I think it's going to be. I'm just not going to. I will probably get a PS5 when it comes out, but I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see it this year. That's all I'm saying. All right. So let's do the one man says one thing, and he shouldn't have. So Crytek, which are a German software company who made famous for making the Cry engine and Crysis 1 and Crysis 2. And Crysis 3, you see a pattern here, and their game engine, which did a lot of things. One of their engineers was interviewed by a Persian site. I have no idea how to say this. Vigilato.
Maybe.
It sounds Italian. I'm going to talk Italiano.
It's not Italian website, but Vigilato.
Just a weird thing. But he was speaking to the thing, and he turns around and said, "Oh, the PS5 is much easier to program for than the Xbox X series." And then the interview was pulled down like that because his boss turns around and says, "Shh, we can't be seen to be taking sides. And you might find it easy, but Dave down in deep storage is finding it very hard." And it sounds like one of those things where he might be having a good experience with it, but they can't be seen to be taking sides. And I said it's from the consoles. The difference between the two consoles is going to be one's a muscle car and one's a Japanese like speaker. And some
we
people
came to the conclusion, because we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, and we both decided that even though on paper the Xbox looked more powerful, I suspect that Sony might win this one again, but only time will tell.
Price.
This is the thing is, I've heard that I've the guy from Crytek said it was easy to program from it. Another guy said the Xbox One X series is a beast. Another programmer said no, the PlayStation one's an absolute beast, and it keeps going backwards and forth. None of the developers can make their minds up. Yeah, this is the first person who said actually it's easier to program for, which tends to be the one that wins the day, because if it's easier to make games for. Yeah.
And he was German, right?
I think it's
all about efficiency.
Yes, Germans know all about efficiency.
They're all about efficiency. We know they're the most efficient, and so if it's more efficient to program for, he's talking he's right.
I think
I mean that could be true.
It's going to be. I think it's going to be dependent on the games that you play. I think if you play like a corridor shooter, I know that we don't do corridor shooters anymore, but say you corridor shooter, the Xbox X series is going to keep the shit out of it. If you do open world, the PlayStation, because the load capacity of it, the way it moves data around the system, is going to be much better for open world games. So it's going to be interesting. But the long and the short of it is they're going to be duking it out. So I've got a feeling that they said that the PS5 was going to have a low price point, and it was going to be roughly the same price as the PS4 at the moment, which sounded fantastic. And then the Xbox X series had a rumor that theirs was going to be roughly the same price point as a PS4 at the moment. And I'm thinking, either way is good for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Either way is good for me. Competition is good, full stop. So I'm probably...
Again, based upon current events and what's happening in certain countries, they're going to have to be cheap if they're going to sell.
Well, I don't think given the hardware, it's
they might have to take a loss on it and make the money back in gaming licensing and everything else like that. But trust me, if they put it in at 500, 400, 500 mark, they aren't going to sell.
I think get like a 400 quid version. I think because the other thing is when Dana Carvey talked about the internal bits, he said that part of it was price point. It was to get all of this stuff working and at a price point that people could afford. So they have thought money wise in regard to
that. Yeah, but that was at the beginning of the year. Pre beer bug. Post beer bugs, this world is going to be a very different place.
But it will be for 2 or 3 years, and then, yeah.
So that's the only thing I'm saying. I think all of this is very interesting. I heard the same rumor about the PlayStation 5, that it was going to come in at a much lower price point than your typical released console, which it sounds really cool. I definitely want one. But bearing in mind that the PS3 was made at a loss, but Sony made more than enough money by winning the Blu-ray.
Yeah, but they're not fighting a Blu-ray thing. All right. No. Let's go to the comments, Nige.
Yeah. Right. Where should we start? Start here with Alex. He says that Japan are putting aside $2 billion to move all business out of China and into Japan.
I've heard of that. I've heard that, but you are not going to move an entire production line. It takes a couple of years to move a production line.
If it's anything,
6 to 9 months to set one of these things up, and most of that is sorting out logistics. And trust me, I have dealings with factories being set up.
Yeah,
They might have 2 factories, one in each country, running parallel to each other, and then maybe slowly whittle back what they do here and ramp up what they do here, to not have such a big issue.
Because Japan, to make the components, they get sent to China, and then China then assemble the components into a phone or a console, which is mad. It's like we make ARM chips in this country, and then they get sent out to China to be put into phones.
It also, you can't see it being released this year. It might well get pushed back, but at the moment, I think they've confirmed that they're doing their best to keep it for this year, but we'll see.
They are. Last week they said they're still on for a holiday release, but it really depends on. I don't think you can really be 100% sure of anything.
No.
So,
yeah. You'll have to take a loss if you enter in a global recession. I don't think we're quite there at a recession yet, but you never know.
We wait for results to come in before we can declare.
That's not global.
It has to be 2 recessions in a row. It has to be 2 negative growth sections in a row. So,
yeah. And look who's popped up. Malcolm. He just said 07. I don't know.
I don't know if he's talking about 007 or he's accidentally struck the keys while he's having a wank and he's hit our link by accident.
That's how he types. His penis. Bang, bang, bang.
I hope that's not the case.
Just one last one before we move. Alex has said you'll be surprised.
You might be right.
Can move operations. They'll have contingency plans. It will take time, but they all want business cut off with China. Apparently, we'll see. And
they do. The Japanese government really fucked off with China at the moment, and I don't blame them. Actually, I'm surprising when this is all over. Lots of governments will be turning around and go, "We're not happy." Let's talk about Red Dwarf: The Promised Land.
Oh, I love this.
Reviews.
Before we start, Malcolm says the 07 is hello in MMOs. It looks like a guy waving a hand when you look at it. That's it. I didn't know.
Yeah, the head and a fucking arm up.
Right. Oh, that's fine. He wasn't wanking. Phew. Because I could imagine that's a proper boner killer jumping onto our stream while you're looking at hardcore porn. I am such a terrible, terrible person. Anyway, this Thursday, Red Dwarf Promised Land aired, and it was good, and it was enjoyable.
It was brilliant, and the soundtrack to it was incredible. It had a proper cinematic soundtrack, and I loved it. I really enjoyed it. I was laughing all the way through. There were so many moments in it that made me laugh.
Holly being too much. I've not seen this yet. Okay. I want to know. Great.
Cover your ears because there's a couple of things I do want to talk about. One of them is the torpedo bit. Cover your. That's a good boy. And I wink, wink. The torpedo bit with Holly. I was in hysterics watching the torpedo bit with Holly, where he's like kind of. That was just. It was like kind of. Because I've done all the calculations and I'll use one of Red Dwarf's mining torpedoes. And he's like, okay, all right. It goes, when we get hurt? Sorry, when we get hurt? It goes, no, I'll be fine, like that. It goes, all my calculations, it'll be fine. And then he's like, kind of, missed. This is just absolutely hilarious. It's annoying because when you had the crew of the Red Dwarf together was when it was funniest and most entertaining, and anything else seemed to detract from that, if that made any sense. Apart from the vegan forks.
The vegan forks are funny. There's a deleted scene because on the catch-up thing, there's a deleted scene where they go into more detail about the vegan forks. But I was laughing all the way through. And just smiling and just thinking, this is brilliant. This is Red Dwarf back to its I would say it's up there with some of the best episodes. It was really good. I mean, I liked seasons 10, 11, and 12. And there were some funny moments in there. I wouldn't say it's the best of Red Dwarf, but they were good. They weren't bad. But this was up there. Because there was just so many jokes that just landed perfectly. You know, the whole scene with Holly and them escaping the planet. And I'm not going to go into too much detail for Nigel's sake. Was brilliant. The whole Starbug thing. Nice. Take your earplug out for a second, because the whole electric engine thing. Starbug made me piss myself because it's so relevant and it was funny.
The Starbug thing was I did find funny, where it was like, what was it? It was like the back section's on fire, so naturally I jettisoned it, and it was like, you could use the fire extinguisher. And it went, a fire extinguisher may have worked better.
Can I ask?
I liked
question on this, right? From the preview that we saw, the little clippets, we thought the production looked better and the graphics and everything looked better. The props didn't look like, I don't know, painted eggshells or whatever, egg boxes. Has it got more money? Does it look better?
In my opinion, what they had was they had a budget. They probably had the same budget they had for series 10, 11, and 12. And instead of making 6 episodes, they effectively made 3. So they made half the amount that they would usually make. Therefore, they had more money to spend on it. The soundtrack was certainly far more cinematic. The effects looked really good. When Starbug is down on that moon, which you see in the trailer, it looked great. There are some really cheap effects, but the cheap effects are so funny. Again, I mean, this is not really a spoiler. When they asked to take a look outside and fucking Crichton produces that drilling his finger, drills up, pulls out an eye, sticks it on one of those obstacle aerials and sticks it through the eye. And the effect of his eye coming out of the sand was really cheap, but it was so funny. I was pissing myself at that. And the other thing that made me laugh, well, there's 2 other things that stick to mind, was the cat flap on the ships, which was just brilliant. And the escape scene at the beginning and the eventual demise of the king. The laser pointer was just it was fucking inspired.
I just loved it.
I loved it.
I loved the bit with Rimmer where he burnt out his battery. Yes. And he's having to fucking have like a cable thing, and then they have the bit where Cat makes him go to fucking existential crisis mode, where he doesn't know if he exists or not. And Lister's trying to persuade him that he does exist. So yeah.
So Red Dwarf. I mean, I was a bit wary because the last special that Dave did with the whole Coronation Street joke with Lister and everything, and the Starbug smart car, it was okay, but it wasn't brilliant.
No, it wasn't. It was nice.
Good. This was good. This was funny. This was up there with some of my favorite Red Dwarf episodes because it had everything that made Red Dwarf good. Red Dwarf was funny. Number 1, it was funny. Number 2, it was very British, but it also had really geeky sci-fi concepts in it, and like serious sort of sci-fi concepts. And this had it all. It had some really good concepts in it. I loved the kittens. I loved
the noise that torpedoes made.
Oh, the dog.
That was fabulous. As I said to Keith at the beginning of this, someone must have thought that at the last moment, and they went, "Hang on a second, no, that's class. That is."
Control V replace all.
It was. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the hell out of it. Could it have been better? Yeah, I would probably give it a 7 out of 10. But given the fact that TV, to get a decent 7 on TV at the moment is quite hard. Everything's like 5s and 4s.
It's not the best Red Dwarf episode ever made, but it's up there. I would say it's in the top 10 of my favorite episodes because I haven't laughed so much at a Red Dwarf. I laughed quite a lot at the Jesus episode, but again, I wouldn't say that's up there. But I'd say it's up there with some of my favorites, like, you know, Back to Reality, which is still one of my favorites. I love the cowboy episode.
Quarantine.
I love that. Yes,
Quarantine's
that one
brilliant.
as well.
So you
Quarantine's the one with Rimmer in the fucking
dress. Yes.
Yes,
with Mr. Flibble, and he's like kind of nothing's amiss. I'm sitting here in a checked gingham dress and army boots, and you're saying nothing's amiss. That's a great one. Okay, Nige, would you like to go through the comments?
Yep. Right. So Alex was wondering if you get Dave out in Thailand. We've answered that. Yeah.
I stream.
He does.
I stream through a VPN. No, it's nothing. No, I have a right. There's nothing illegal about it. I have a VPN into one of the companies that I work for, and I stream through that.
I'm sure that if you look in the terms of service, there's something against VPNs.
But Netflix says this.
Put the eye patch on.
But I'm quite obviously
the eye patch on, Keith, and get that parrot on your shoulder. You're joining Kit and Nige on the high seas later.
Yeah, so swiftly moving on. So Duncan said it was great, but it's a shame there was too many ad breaks.
Yeah, that's the weird thing about watching it on Dave.
Having
an ad break.
Dave has always got that. I'm downloading it.
Damn ad breaks on catch up as well. So yeah,
but I can
agree,
fast forward.
Alex.
Yeah, what I did the classic where I wait 15 minutes and I'm 15 minutes and I start synchronizing with real time. So when I get to the end of it, I'm at real time.
You've caught up in the last ad break, and then
yeah, it's brilliant. It's the best strategy ever for watching live TV.
Yep.
Watch it 15 minutes later and go through the ad breaks.
Alex is hoping for a few more specials.
I agree.
Is this? I thought there was more than one part. Yeah, there's 3 parts. So we'll see what they do after. David has never watched Red Dwarf.
You need to,
David. You need to.
It's always on Dave. Always.
Have you got Netflix, Dave? Answer the question in the chat if you've got Netflix or not. If not, I'll see if I can sort something out.
His next question, I don't know. I haven't watched it yet.
No, it's not any good. Do not watch Birds of Prey.
Movie.
It was so bad that the guy who directed John Wick had to come in and redo parts of the film because the studio were disappointed with it. That's before it gets anywhere near the consumer. So if the studio says it's crap, then it's crap. Don't waste your money on it. And the other one I watched Bloodshot with Vin Diesel.
I watched that.
And it was just okay. It was just okay.
Yeah, I agree.
It was annoying because I wanted it to be really good, and it looked really good in the trailers and whatnot, and I was getting a bit excited for it, and then it turned into okay, and I was quite upset actually because I was expecting a bit more. But Vin Diesel pulled some fucking Jodie Whittaker faces in that film.
He's a Doctor Who fan then.
Yeah.
So there you are.
Okay, cool. I'll try and sort something out with Dave. All right. Wink, wink. Wink, wink.
Sort something out with Dave so Dave can watch Dave. And he also says he won't bother watching that movie. You guys should check out Escape from Pretoria. That
sounds like a horrible fucking documentary about life in South Africa. So yeah, okay.
If I remember, I'll have a look. Right. So
we have to review the.
Yeah. Do you remember Train from Busan? Did you ever watch Train from Busan?
Never did see it in the end. No.
Did you watch it, Keith? Really good. One of the best zombie films ever made. It's Korean, and they've done a sequel to it. I cannot remember what the name of the sequel is.
Oh,
it's like Peninsula, I think. It looks great.
Yes, that was also on Amazon.
It's on Netflix here.
Is it on Netflix there?
It's on Netflix here.
What, Peninsula?
So Thai Netflix. It's on. No, the Train to Busan, which is how I watched it. I don't know. I didn't know there was a sequel. So
I didn't know there was a sequel until I found it out. I just stumbled across someone else who was reviewing a film, and it turned out to be a thing.
I know what Dave's talking. I know what Dave's talking about now, about that movie with Daniel Radcliffe. He's actually right. It is quite good.
Sorry, Nudge.
Was it called Soul Station?
No.
No?
Peninsula. or Train to Busan, one of the others.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I'm looking at Train to Busan, but I can't see anything that is a follow-up to that.
All right. Okay. So just you want to just go through the chats quick, Nige, and then I'll let you get back to googling. So, wait.
So Duncan, Red Dwarf season 3, 4, and 5 are there,
and 6.
He's right, but 6. You've got to add 6 in there because 6 had the Western episode in it. 6 had some really good episodes.
Had the sirens. They're fucking awesome.
I don't know how you guys remember what each series are. I don't fucking have a clue, man.
Crichton joined in season 3. So, the first 2 seasons of Red Dwarf. But it wasn't the same actor. And Crichton came in as a regular in season 3. And from when Crichton joined, it's what Red Dwarf as we know it. And then you had seasons 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then 7 and then 8 went funny, didn't it? Because 8 went where they were, all the crew were back, and it just wasn't as good. And then they got all killed off again. And there was that funny scene at the end where Rimmer has a fucking argument with one of the.
I don't know how you guys remember how each series are. I didn't ask you to go into the rods.
No, we're nerds.
No, that's the difference between a nerd and a geek. Is a geek will say this is really good, you should watch it, yeah, and a nerd will turn around and say, "Wow, the transporters can only really operate over 6 light years if they're for Dominion transporters, but the regular transporters can only do 100." That's shit. That's how they talk. All right.
Notice how Gareth actually, that's how they talk. Gareth actually knows that because Gareth is the biggest fucking Star Trek nerd of us all.
Do you know the worst thing?
Really surprising.
Do you know the worst thing is? Dominion transporters do actually work over 6 light years.
No,
I wasn't making that shit up. Because they were saying in Star Trek, it was like kind of they were talking about transporters, and it was like kind of it was Deep Space Nine. Because I've been watching Deep Space Nine and what's it off and on recently while I've been working. I've just been putting on in the background. And Brian was whinging about something, and he brought that up. So yes, I am a terrible nerd.
Oh my god, I've no idea what you guys have just been saying for the last 2 minutes.
That's fine. They've got one here from Duncan.
Yeah. Time slide.
I agree with all of those.
Are those films?
No, episodes. Demons and Angels. Demons and Angels has got one of the best Rimmer moments ever, where Lister is hiding out in the cargo bay, and he goes Rimmer, and then the demon version of Rimmer comes down the stairs, and as he comes down the stairs, he's got like a hollow whip, and he like hits him. It goes a hollow whip like that. Goes, yeah, I'm going to lash you to within an inch of your life, and then I'm going to have you. It's brilliant. That bit, no, look, I would have been falling around the floor.
I like Back to Reality.
For that.
Back to Reality is also one of my favorites. But we should move on because I want to talk about the next thing.
Yeah. So
because I couldn't watch. You see now, the guy. This is based on an art book, which is kind of a weird concept. So the story in this,
an art book, not a collection of stories, an art book.
No, it's an art book. So this guy is an artist, right? And he did a lot of the art behind No Man's Sky. So he also created several other books, and one of them was called Tales of the Loop. And his images are featured heavily in this TV series. So in the second episode, the ball in the forest, we see that in his book. The 3 sort of chimneys, they almost look like, with blue lights on. That's an image in his book. That's an image in his book. The flying thing. The robots are flying are featured heavily in his book. And I really like the art, so I've got the book. This, I don't know why Amazon released this now, because it's really fucking depressing. The music is really downbeat. It's very brown and beige and grey, and it just has this downtrodden feeling. It has this bleak feeling to it. And it's like, you are releasing this in the middle of what's going on. What the fuck were you thinking? So, I mean, if you were, I wouldn't recommend anybody watch this right now. I really wouldn't, because if you're feeling at all a bit hemmed in or anything like that, do not watch this, because it will just depress the fuck out of you.
I've been watching War of the Worlds during this thing.
War of the Worlds.
It's more bleak than that, Nige. It's more.
I wouldn't describe it as bleak. I would just describe
music
it as
makes it feel bleak.
It's what do you call it? Well, it's not the music. It's just the settings, because it's lots of empty, separate shots.
But it's all beige. Oh, we've lost Gareth.
That's the JJ films that we don't. Sorry, I was going to say we were complaining the JJ films that he doesn't let the scenes breathe. Yeah, like he doesn't let the scenes, have their space and whatnot. This breathes too much. It's based on a fucking art book, for fuck's sake. I'm sorry. No, what bimbo signed off on that? Oh, that'd be good. The imagery is very popular, and the imagery is great. And the imagery is not a story. It's art.
The imagery is nowhere near as bleak. I was watching this, and the music, it just felt really bleak to me. That second episode was really, and the ending to that second episode, it's not good. I mean, I know that they're going to bring that back to play. They're saying it's like an anthology series, but they blatantly can't leave that second episode ending there.
Okay, well, I what do you call it? I haven't seen. I only watched the first one, and I found the first one. How can I put it? Boring. Really, really, really dull.
Yeah.
It was so boring. I couldn't get to my 4 episode rule because I'd how can I put it, disconnected from the whole bloody thing.
The second episode is better than the first, but it's very bleak. And it just feels, I found it depressing, and I couldn't watch any more of it.
To sum up, not worth watching.
Yes,
not at the moment.
It's boring and dull. Hang on, oops, sorry, I got a bit excited there. It's boring and dull, and it's based off an art book rather than a storybook. All right, let's wrap. Let's start to wind down. I've got 2 stories in regards. I wanted to put a third story, but I couldn't put the third story in because it was about adult sex toys, and given our history with adult sex toys in our previous incarnation.
You put last week's one in, which was hilarious.
That was some old lady making a perfectly innocent mistake, which was hilarious. So we've got 2 smaller ones here. I can't remember. Someone asked for that link when I did it. So we've got two smaller ones here. Right. So the first one here is floating bin divides the internet. As some saying it's a result of being locked down for too long. So you got the bin here, and it seems to be floating off the ground. And it's weird because if I look at it on my observed screen over here, it looks like it's floating. But if I look on my other screen up here, which has got a bit more televisual depth, I can see that it is a puddle. It does look like it's floating if you just catch it by the side.
At first glance, yeah. At first glance, it does look like it is, but then, you notice it's a puddle, not a shadow.
Yeah, I'm sorry. My mouse is.
Yeah, it's no gold dress or blue dress thing.
It's gold. I went into Adobe and I measured the color.
I agree with you
because I didn't know, so I was like, okay, I'll use a machine to objectively work out what it is. Because it's blue. That's gold. If I look in the scale, if I use Adobe to do the fucking eyedropper and fill in the color, and you go, what's the color? You go, oh, it's gold because it's fucking gold. That's it. Done. Posh. All right. Doesn't matter what the picture was of. It came out that way. There's a problem with the CCD. Okay. All right. Sorry. And then we've got another one here. So, and we've got some poor woman sitting on Instagram. Yeah, and she's trying to be kind of slightly sexy and sultry, and she's drinking a glass of red wine, and she's playing one of those silly games where it hits your forehead and it puts like a Goes, what fruit would you be? You'd be a melon. Something along those lines.
Yeah.
Anyway, she's doing that, and then as it happens, she tries to press a button and then fucking covers herself in wine. Let's. Can I get this in full screen? Right, sister. let's watch that in. Let's just a bit closer. Ready? Here we go. Again. What kind of cheese are you? I'm a.
Oh, all over the face.
Looks like she's read Leicester then.
It's Red Leicester. I love that because I watched it and it was just, I could picture myself doing something like that. But yeah, she just fucked up drinking a glass of wine for the whole internet thing. Apparently 13,000 people or something have seen that at the time, and now I'm sure it's probably going close to 1 million. She went viral in completely the wrong way. Okay, it's time to say goodbye. For the people who have been joining us on the stream, thank you very much. If you're on YouTube, can you give us a thumbs up on YouTube? If you're on Facebook, can you give us a thumbs up on Facebook? Really helps. Love the fact that you've been chatting with us. It makes all the difference. Trust me, it does make all the difference. We've been enjoying doing this more than we have doing our regular podcast, and we love the interactions. So yeah, please do that.
If you're on YouTube and you want to know when we're next doing this live, if you subscribe and hit the bell, then you will get told. It'll give you a little pop-up and stuff, won't it? So,
yeah, and like the Facebook page, and
yep.
I don't know if that gives you an alert.
It will also, I think it will let you know.
Okay, well, it's has anyone got anything to say before we go through our goodbyes?
Only that we put this out as a podcast as well, and it's on all good podcast directories. But if you've been watching this all the way through, or you haven't, and you want to hear the whole way through thing, I would say you listen to it in your car. But most of us aren't going to be in our car, and if you are, you better have a fucking good reason. But yes, we do this as a podcast. Otherwise, we will be back. Same Facebook or YouTube channel as this week on Sunday at around about 3:30-ish.
Yes. So I'd just like to thank Dave for liking us, Orlando for liking us. Don't let Keith bully you, Orlando. Francesco for liking us, and
I will say this: if he's still watching this, he's a good kid. Saved my fucking bacon more than once. I take the piss, but he's a damn good lad. I owe him a lot.
Okay.
So, yes.
So, it's goodbye from me.
It's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from me. Bye-bye.
A fucking reaction on that man.